simply because 2.7 million people in Tigray voted for a regional administrator government. Regional government have nothing to do with the federal constitution. The constitution that was violated is by the very person named Abiy Ahmed, who was appointed in 2018 when Desani Hailemariam resigned from his post. In early 2020, an election was supposed to be held in Ethiopia, a national election. The dictator in Ethiopia knew that he could not win in the ballot box. So he used as an excuse COVID-19 not to hold an election. The regional government of Tigray, the people of Tigray say, that's fine. But what we'll do is we'll proceed with our own regional government because for those of you, when you look at the United States of America, every state has its choice to elect a governor. Federal government does not get involved. But we know often in African politics, leaders that get into power, they want to stay in power until they die. That's the human tragedy. Civilians in Tigray have faced starvation, massive rape, incarceration in Western Tigray called Humara. As we speak, many Tigrayans in Humara are being thrown into the Keza River after they go through massive torture. So we want you to just not hear the chant today and go home and say, hey, I chanted. But we would like you to share what's happening. And what we're trying to do is we're asking the United States of America, the European Union, the NATO member countries to simply do very few things. Put no-fly zone to Tigray, drop food and medicine to Tigray, put political pressure, if not action, that forces the dictator in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, to turn on electricity in Tigray, to have a unhindered humanitarian access, unhindered UN investigation to the atrocities. So let me give you a quick rundown of what happened in Tigray. November 4th, 2020, massive military were deployed to invade a regional state called Tigray in northern Ethiopia, including the neighboring country Eritrea, who had grudges and anger towards Tigrayans because Eritrea chose to have a one-man, no-election dictator for 30 years. And his failure in Eritrea was translated that the bravery of Tigrayans who integrated, brought not perfect, but a good system to the 110 million Ethiopians, it was not flying well for Abiy Ahmed. Isaias Afwerki, excuse me. Then Abiy Ahmed of Ethiopia made a deal with Eritrea to take out the people of Tigray, then to become a king until he died. Clearly, his plan didn't work very well. So as a result, we are seeing massive atrocities. Nuns at churches are gang raped by Eritreans and Ethiopian troops. These are nuns that serve their holy God. Mosque, Al-Nagashi, as you all know, or many of you know, was bombed. Since when is religious leaders become a target of a military? It only happened in Ethiopia. I'm speaking for Tigray. Up until November 4th, 2020, all of us who are Tigrayan origin, we were proud to call ourselves Ethiopians, Ethiopian Americans, whatnot. The change came when our people came under attack. Imagine for 11 and a half months, you can't talk to your family, you don't know who's alive, you don't know who's dead. And I hear people complaining like, oh my gosh, I can't talk to my family for a week or for two. We know there's like wars going on in the Amhara region. So when I hear to the Ethiopians claiming, oh, I can't get hold of my sister, my brother for like the last couple of months. We don't want you to go through the pain that we're going through, but feel our pain. We've been going through it since November 4th, 2020. So on between November 12th and November 18th, 2020, massive massacre took place. More than 200 civilians were killed in Adi Hagar. Some of the pronunciation of the cities in Tigray, I may not be perfect, but these are the cities that you'll hear me rumbling through. Over 200 people. Those people were massacred, they're civilians, by Eritreans and Ethiopian federal forces, followed by, between November 18 to 19, for 2 days straight, multiple Eritrean forces and Ethiopian forces jointly in a place called Salaklaha were committing genocide. Rewind time, during that time, we all know the Maikadra massacre. Our people were ambushed, civilians. The Fana and the Amhara militia attacked every Tigrayan ethnic. And the atrocity in Maikadra was then used as a propaganda saying, Tigrayan youth attack Amhara. Let us be clear, the atrocity didn't need to happen. So who is held accountable for this? The leaders of Amhara region, the Eritrean government, and the self-proclaimed leader of Ethiopia, Abiy Ahmed. It is under their leadership, civilians in Tigray, more than 750 civilians were pulled out of the church of Mariam Zion in Aksum. And you know what? Let alone a weapon, they were not even carrying a stick. They were at a church praying to their God, and they were all pulled out of the church and all executed by Eritrean forces. So when we do the prayer, when we talk about it, this is not a politic. So when you hear, I don't get involved in politics, nobody needs to be a politician to speak for humanitarian, to stand against the injustice on civilians. So that's what we're talking about. So let us be clear. Genocide in Tigray has been committed, and it continues as we speak. The only other time in history that we know such atrocity and genocide have taken place is before none of us were born. In the 19th century, Hitler of Germany convinced the people of Germany that it was okay to kill the Jewish people of Israel. And an estimated number between 5 to 6 million Jews were killed. That is beyond comprehensible. In 1995, when the Rwanda massacre took place, President Clinton, I remember I was in high school in Fresno, California, and he said, these atrocities will never happen, should never happen, and will not alive. Americans, they have stepped up, they have called this atrocity to stop, but we need action. We're simply asking for the United States of America to take action. No fly zone in Tigray is one step solution. Dropping foods and medicine in Tigray is another solution. Because every single day, a child in Tigray is dying of starvation, and they shouldn't have to. That is not a politic. So for anyone thinks that is a politic, I'm sorry, but that is not a politic. I'm not going to go through everything, but if you just go to Omna Tigray or Google simply Tigray genocide, you'll find a lot of this information I shared to you, including what happened in Adigrat when the Eritrean forces entered. They went house to house. They looted and stole every goods they can take. Then anything they couldn't, either they burnt it or they destroyed it to ensure the leftover humans will not be able to have food to eat. So what happened in Tigray is beyond the 5 to 10 minutes that I can go and try and express and explain. But to save time, I'm going to give other people an opportunity to speak, and we're going to do our chants a little bit before we head out. But I think at the end of the day, we would like to continue this fight until the corridor in Tigray opens. the atrocity that's taking place in Hamora stops. The last few weeks, we saw 4 civilian bombing in Mekelle, simply because they could not handle the actual fighting that's taking place on the battlefield. So if you want to bomb, if you want to fight, please, Abiy Ahmed of Ethiopia, Isaias Afwerki of Eritrea, take it in the front line where the war is happening. Leave alone our civilians. We need food, not bombs, to be dropped in Mekelle or anywhere in Tigray. And for those of you, last but not least, Abiy Ahmed is determined to continue the bombing in Mekelle. Possibly, there's a chatter going on in Adigrat, Adwa, Aksum, Mekelle. Shire. Those are the areas that are in the chatter that possibly that he knows that he is on his last leg, and he wants to create as much destruction and atrocity as he could before he's possibly out of ammunition. Thank you.
I'd like more if you can. Thank you for that summary. I am going to proceed to allow people to come and make a speech, but in between those speeches, we're gonna be chanting, because our focus today is to bring awareness to the genocide that is happening, and then we want unfettered, unhindered humanitarian aid to enter into Tigray so that people who are starving to death can be saved. Young children are malnourished, and we need food to get in. The United States can do it. The Europeans can do it. There is a lot of food waiting to enter, but it's been systematically blocked by the Ethiopian government. So we want that food to enter into Tigray. So allow humanitarian aid.
Allow humanitarian aid.
Allow humanitarian aid.
Allow humanitarian aid
to flow to Tigray.
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 Stop the genocide.
Stop the genocide.
Stop the genocide.
Stop the genocide.
Stop the starvation.
Stop the starvation.
Stop the starvation.
Stop the starvation.
Stop the killing.
Stop the killing.
Stop the murder.
Stop the murder.
Stop the genocide.
Stop the genocide.
Stop the starvation.
Stop the starvation.
Stop the starvation.
Stop the starvation.
This is a peaceful protest to let Portland, Oregon, and the United States know that there is a humanitarian crisis made by the Ethiopian government. We want to stop that genocide. It is a genocide. You have to call it a genocide. So call it a genocide. Call it a genocide.
Call it a genocide.
It is a genocide.
It is a genocide.
Call it a genocide.
Call it a genocide.
It is a genocide.
It is a genocide.
Stop the genocide.
Stop the genocide.
Stop the genocide.
Stop the genocide.
Drop food.
Drop food.
Not bombs.
Not bombs.
Drop food.
Drop food.
Not bombs.
Not bombs.
Drop food.
Drop food.
Not bombs.
Not bombs.
Stop the genocide.
Stop the genocide.
Stop the genocide.
Stop the genocide.
Call it a genocide.
Call it a genocide.
Call it a genocide.
Call it a genocide.
While I'm here, I'd like to thank a lot of people, a lot of the senators in Oregon, the 2 senators here in Oregon, and a lot of the senators in the United States have supported us with SR 97. And we want them to proceed into the next stage, which is take action, so that the humanitarian aid flows into Tigray. We want them to pass that line of, we are concerned. Concerns don't feed our people. Concerns don't do anything. Concerns are just statements. We want them to translate that into action. We want them to be very specific. Do not mix the victim and the perpetrator of crimes. Here is the problem. When you equate 2 things that are not the same, you are part of the problem. We want them to take action. UN, take action.
UN, take action.
US, take action.
US, take action.
UN, take action.
UN, take action.
Stop the genocide.
Stop the genocide.
Stop the genocide.
Stop the genocide.
For all those that tell us they are concerned, deeply concerned, those don't feed our people. Your deep concerns don't do anything if you do not translate them into action. So allow humanitarian aid.
Allow humanitarian aid
Allow humanitarian aid into Tigray. Into Tigray.
into Tigray.
Allow humanitarian aid
Allow humanitarian aid
into Tigray.
into Tigray.
Stop the crime.
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 Stop the starvation.
Stop the starvation.
Stop the starvation.
Stop the starvation.
Thank you so much. And after this,
Let's get you guys fired up a little bit. Tagaro lives matter. Tagaro lives matter. Tagaro lives matter. Tagaro lives matter. Thank you. So we're gonna have our brother here, Ato Barakat Kiros, Seattle, Washington. He's been on it from day one. So for those of you from out of town, thank you. And I'm gonna have him, when he gives speech, I want him to briefly also tell all of you guys here, the U.S. government, lawmakers in the U.S. are actually stepping up the pressure on Abiy Ahmed. Yesterday, Resolution 445 passed. Resolution 445. I'm gonna let him talk more about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Good afternoon, Portland. I can't hear you. Oh, come on. You can do better than that. Good afternoon. All right. Thank you. I am here with my colleagues in the spirit of Tigray solidarity. And I see a lot of colleagues from Washington, Seattle. Where are you guys? All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, the Portland Tigray community, for preparing such event. It wouldn't be possible without your caring and support for the Tigray people. You have been the eyes and the ears of our people. Since I have been given a limited time, I would like to share something that I feel profoundly from the bottom of my heart. Mike told me, since I sometimes to speak a lot, so I'm gonna share my thoughts in a brief. As we speak right now, for 4 consecutive days, our people are bombed. Kids are being terrorized. Elders are being terrorized. Institution is being destroyed. So we have a lot of work to do, the advocacy. We have to reach to our Congress. We have to reach to our senators. Our work just began. The more we are pushed, the more we do. Friends and colleagues, Abiy foolishly thinks that he can reverse his defeat by bombing Mekelle, the capital city of our Tigray. Contrary to Abiy's claim that the airstrikes are directed at legitimate military targets, the evidence shows that children and civilians are among those who are killed and wounded. Those operations are also meant to terrorize the whole resident, the city, and disrupt their daily lives. The airstrikes are particularly cruel because they are directed at those very same people that Abiy has condemned to starve by his deliberate blockade to international aid. One wonders why Abiy is bombing Tigray indiscriminately while the actual war is being fought hundreds of kilometers away. Well, the answer is simple: revenge, because his forces are being beaten badly in every battlefield. It looks like the clock is ticking and the days are numbered. Incredible as it is, Abiy thinks that he can negotiate away his despicable act of deliberately starving the entire population of Tigray. Not only there is no legal basis for such negotiations, it is also unprecedented that one would ever think that one can evade responsibility this way. It is not secret that the Tigray Defense Forces in Amhara and Afar lands in hot pursuit and does not have any intention of occupying those territories permanently. The people of Tigray, who have been under siege for nearly a year now have no choice. No choice whatsoever except pursuing the enemies wherever they are until the latter and the siege come to negotiation table. The Tigray Defense Forces is left with very little choice but engage the Ethiopian Defense Forces and the Eritrean mercenary and the Amhara vicious until it is out of Tigray. And when it does that, because it is an existential threat to the people of Tigray, the Tigray Defense Forces will not stop short of complete defeat of the Ethiopian Defense Forces, the Amhara militia, and the Eritrean mercenaries. In other words, TDF will march to Addis Ababa.
Yeah.
That's it. Abiy has two choices. He can either pursue the war that he knows he cannot win, or accept the international call, for ceasefire and ease the siege and allow unfettered access to humanitarian aid to Tigray. First things first, the highest priorities for the people of Tigray and friends of Tigray are the Amhara land grabbers and the Eritrean mercenaries must vacate western Tigray. Otherwise, they're going to get with Tigray Defense Force punishment. In the meantime, Tigray airspace should be declared their no-fly zone. TDF will soon engage the dug-in Eritrean forces on the northern border of Tigray, given the determination and motivation of its fighters. I believe Tigray defense will prevail. Thank you so much. Let's chat a little bit. Eritrean out of Tigray.
Eritrea troops out of Tigray.
Drop food, no bombs.
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 Sanction the Ethiopian Airlines.
Sanction Ethiopian Airlines.
Sanction the Ethiopian Airlines.
Sanction Ethiopian Airlines.
Stop bombing Tigray.
Stop bombing Tigray.
Thank you so much. We will win. Tigray تعود.
Tigray تعود.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ata Barakat. Thank you. يغني لنا. ما ካብ ዋሽንግተን ዲሲ ዝመፅእ ሓውና እውን ስለ ዘሎ ሕፅር ኣቢሉ ቻንት ከሎ ንስተይ ስፒች እዩ ኣንተሎ ቻንት ብጣዕሚ ተበራብሪ ቻንት ስለ ዝገብር ቻንት ክገብር ተለካ ብጣዕሚ ደስ ዘብል ሓውና ፍረዝጊ ፕሊዝ ፍረዝጊ ሓወይ ንዓና ኣብዚኣ እሞ ዌልካም
Leonardo, thank you everybody. This is my first time ever visiting Portland, Oregon. So I am delighted to be here, even though it is not under such circumstances. I wish it was in a better circumstance, but I'm here facing this agony and this horrific crime in my hometown, Tigray. So today exactly marked 351 days of the Tigray genocide war. So for the past 351 days, our people been in agony. More than 22,000 women and young girls as young as 4 was raped by the Ethiopian and the Eritrean and the Amhara army. More than 80,000 people fled Sudan to the neighbor Sudan to save their life from the Amhara regional forces and the Eritrean forces. More than 4.5 million people are facing hunger. They are on the verge of dying. That's why we are here to be a voice to the voiceless people of Tigray, and especially in the city of Portland. We want the Americans, we cannot do it alone, to know this genocidal war happening in hometown Tigray, and to save lives in Tigray. Especially the US government have power to stop this. So that's why we are here to create awareness that there is a genocide in Tigray of Ethiopia. So Americans, you peace-loving Americans, the democratic nation of the United States, please save lives in Tigray. We are Tigrayan Americans. Our life matter. Our people's life matter. That's why we are here praying to you peace-loving Americans, to stand up with us and save our lives. For the past 351 days, Tigray was disconnected from the entire world. There is no power. There is no telephone. There is no medicine. There is no food. So you can imagine what it means for 351 days. So that's why we are here, to create this awareness to you people, so you can reach out to your representatives, to your senators, congressmen and women. Ask them about this genocidal war. Why this is happening on their watch. Why they're not taking action and save our family's life. So that's why we are here for today at this landmark of Portland City. And thank you, America, for standing with Tigray. And thank you for trying to save our people. But that is not enough. We need immediate action. We need humanitarian aid to Tigray. We need no-fly zone to be implemented in Tigray, Ethiopia. Ethiopia is bombarding Tigray for the last 4 days consecutively and killing our people. So that's why we are here asking here in the Portland City, the Portland people, to stand up with us and to reach out and save humanity in Tigray, Ethiopia. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. Thanks again. All right. Alenado.
Elena,
Alenado.
Elena,
Alenado.
Elena,
I can't hear you. Who are we?
Tagaru,
Who are we?
Tagaru,
Who are we?
Tagaru,
Who are we?
Tagaru,
Tagaru lives matter.
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 Black 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 lives matter.
U.S.
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 Act now.
Act now.
Act now.
Act now.
Act now.
Act now.
We demand action.
We demand action.
We demand action.
We demand action.
We demand sanction.
We demand sanction.
We demand sanction.
Demand sanction.
Sanction Ethiopia.
Sanction Ethiopia.
Sanction Ethiopia.
Sanction Ethiopia.
Sanction Ethiopia.
Sanction Ethiopia.
Ethiopia is a failed state.
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 Ethiopia is starving Tigray.
Ethiopia is starving Tigray.
Ethiopia is starving Tigray.
Ethiopia is starving Tigray.
Ethiopia is bombing Tigray.
Ethiopia is bombing Tigray.
Ethiopia is bombing Tigray.
Ethiopia is bombing Tigray.
Ethiopia is guilty of genocide in 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 Tigray.
Ethiopia is guilty of war crimes in Tigray.
Ethiopia is guilty of war crime in Tigray.
Ethiopia is guilty of war crimes in Tigray.
Ethiopia is guilty of war crime in Tigray.
U.S.
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 Air bridge to Tigray.
Airdrop to Tigray.
Air bridge to Tigray.
Air bridge to Tigray.
Yes, we are asking right now. We need air bridge to Tigray, Ethiopia, so our people can be fed. We can get medicines in our hospitals and clinics. That's what we can ask the U.S. government. So we are pleading the U.S. government to open and to drop this food by air bridge to Tigray, Ethiopia. So make sure that when you go into this tweeting campaigns, so make sure that we know what we say. So we cannot say that, airdrop food to Tigray, because we can't. But we can ask them to air bridge food to Tigray, because it's a big difference. America is now in war with Ethiopia, but we are asking America to assist Tigray in such a matter. So make sure that when we tweeting and we are tweeting and using the right words, so it can make sense and we can get some actions. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. Daniel Fresky, thank you so much. So we are almost done. We're gonna have Abiy give a speech real quick. We'll do some more chanting. In case, if there's any of you last minute that you want to step up and take a couple minutes, say something, we'll give you the opportunity. But in the meantime, Abiy, if you can please come over to the stage and Abiy is also one of our young activists who's been working in a lot of these behind closed doors activism since November 4th of last year. So let's make sure that when you guys see our young people that understand what also they do behind closed doors. So when you see the success that we made, or progress rather, we have a lot of young people. So for the DC that all of you guys are aware, on November 4th through the 7th, she's among the 40 people that we meet probably about 2 times a week to make sure that our voice is heard, that when we put out flyers, when we put out tweets, like as Fresco was talking about, that we try to draft them, review them, approve them before they go out. So we put a lot of efforts into those. So thank you to all of you supporting what we do behind closed doors and as well as out here in public. So I'm going to let Abiy come forward. Here she's behind me.
Hello, Dictator. Thank you so much for being here. I know it's not easy. We're nearing 1 year of stepping outside and doing this. We shouldn't have to do this. This message is mostly for everybody on the perimeter. If you are ordering food right now, if you are at these food stands right now, know that everybody in Tigray does not have the privilege, does not have the human right of eating. They are not able to go to a food cart. They are not able to pull out their credit card and get whatever they want. So please, the least you could do is turn around for 5 minutes and listen to what we're saying. It has been almost a year of Tigray genocide, and we've been here before. We've been here many times and nothing has happened. So what we need now is for you, yes, you in the blue hat, you in the black hat, you in the blue jacket, you to listen to us, to join us. There are atrocities happening in the U.S. I mean, there's atrocities happening in Tigray. And us in the U.S., we have immense privilege. We can do a lot. So please listen to these words. You may have, a lot of these points have been iterated before, but I just want to get that point across. The least you could do is just turn around 5 minutes, listen to what we're saying. Okay. So in just under 2 weeks, marks 1 year of Tigray genocide. In that time, tens and thousands of women and girls have been raped by Ethiopian and Eritrean military. Rape has been used as a weapon of war, with countless reports of nails, rocks, as well as hot metal rods inserted into their genitals to destroy their reproductive capacity. Numerous reports of gang rape with accounts of 20+ soldiers molesting individuals for days on end. The testimonials of sadistic cruelty these women and girls have endured may be hard to hear, but their stories need to be heard, and this is reality. To all the victims of sexual violence in Tigray, in spite of the incessant silence, we hear your cries. When even when the words fail you due to the impossibility of suffering, we are here listening, ready to help you make meaning out of meaningless cruelty, so that you may heal, so that we may heal, to know that you are seen and believed and validated and vindicated. To my fellow Tagaro in the diaspora, when grief shows up as guilt, know that having a full meal to eat is an act of resistance. Amid times of genocide, a warmonger is getting
Maran. Hey, Maran.
Speaking Tigrinya is an act of resistance. Practicing our traditions is a form of resistance. Claiming our native ancestral inheritance and history with active targets on our backs. There's nothing more enraging to evildoers than the truth. For us to exist in this moment is a revolutionary act, and that's how history will write our memory. We will ensure it. To defend our people by any means necessary is an existential imperative in every dimension. Our ethnicity is not a crime, yet genocidal maniacs drool over bloodshed and politicking with innocent people's lives. Nearing 1 year ago, last December, we stood in the same pioneer and vocal outcry of the human rights violations and war crimes. The Rwanda genocide lasted 100 days, a approximately 800,000 people slaughtered. We are on day 351 of Tigray genocide. The world likes to say never again, as if never again is not happening right now. All the United Nations has offered is endless concern to close door meetings. They've proven themselves useless to prevent and to take decisive measures to end the genocide. The international community's gross negligence has blood on their hands. We need action now, and we need action today, and we need action from every single person here. Why is our misery always met with if, ands, or buts? In the words of Abiy Ahmed, in quotes, for them it's their women who are raped, but for us it is soldiers who are assaulted by daggers. It is very important for all global citizens to understand there's no two sides of this. There's no two sides to genocide. Truly, this is not about politics. This is about humanity. There's no justification of these crimes against humanity taking place in the 21st century. The Tigrayan community is urging you, each and every single one of you, to call your elected representatives. Demand that they take action. Demand the immediate withdrawal. Write this down. Demand the immediate and monitored withdrawal of Eritrean troops and Amhara forces, unfettered humanitarian access for food and medical supplies, independent international investigations on all rights violations and war crimes, and full access to international media for reporting these atrocities. Join the movement to protect human life and act today. Pull out your phone, follow omnatigray.org, tigrayactioncommittee.org, HPN for Tigray.org, SJT Ethiopia for Tigray.org, United Together Canada for Tigray.org, Tigray Youth Network, Tigray Youth Network.org. There's so many organizations you can get involved with and to know what is actually going on. So Tigray, amplify Tigrayan voices, and thank you so much.
Okay, so we have a special guest on the phone, so Laka is going to introduce.
Yeah, give me 1 second. So as I said earlier, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Portland? So as I said, we've had a lot of people beginning to support us, beginning to understand what's going on in Tigray. And we have a journalist that went privately to investigate and found out some very harrowing evidence of what's happening in Humara and in many parts of Tigray. So I'm going to put him, if you want, you can go to Salon.com to see his article, but I'm going to put him on the phone. His name is Jonathan Hudson. So give me 1 second. All right, I can put you on right now. I don't know how to. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, it's not working. All right, go ahead, man. We can hear it.
Okay, can you hear us? Can you hear us? Is it good?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Sorry, I couldn't be there because of an emergency. This is not good. We have a guest, Mr. Jonathan Hudson. Mr. Jonathan Hudson is a researcher, writer, human rights advocate. He's the architect of the Satellite Sentinel project, which George Clooney, the actor, launched in 2010 to corroborate eyewitness reports to his war crimes with satellite imagery for war crime and analysis. So his work, along with others, has led to the conviction of Omar al-Bashir, the previous leader of Sudan, due to the genocide that was committed in Darfur. We were fortunate enough to know him, and he has been helping the Tigray cause since almost like last December. He's been following it through. Most recently, he went to Sudan, spent about 3 weeks. He visited all the refugee camps, and he wrote a very extensive article on Salam.com about a couple of weeks ago, of which he used the word concentration camp, the existence of a concentration camp in Humara, as well as in Maikatra. He recently also given a briefing to one of our offices in Berkeley, and it was very, very effective. Today, he's going to basically give us a word of wisdom from his experience of fighting genocide in the world. He's a committed advocate and humanitarian. So I will pass the mic to him. Thank you. The community in Portland, we had a big protest, so thank you for your availability.
Thank you. Again, hello, Portland. Thanks for coming out today. It's very important that we urge the United States government and members of the United Nations around the world to call things as they are, to use the words genocide and crimes against humanity and war crimes and concentration camps and man-made starvation, because that is exactly what is going on. As Seged mentioned, I recently returned from Sudan, where I visited Ethiopian refugees representing 5 different ethnic groups in 4 refugee camps, and was able to document their eyewitness reports of genocide, of mass atrocities, of war crimes, of crimes against humanity, of concentration camps, of torture, of starvation, by satellite imagery, and also by cell phone videos that were smuggled out by escapees from a concentration camp in Maikatra. This concentration camp in Maikatra had not previously been reported about, although more than 100 people have escaped from there. Men and women have escaped from there. And the tales that they told, as well as the stories recounted by people who escaped from various concentration camps, also in Humera, document the fact that the Ethiopian federal government is committing genocide, a deliberate campaign of ethnic cleansing